Stephanie Zieman, here in Austin. I own and operate TaffyPrint. It's a marketing and branding company. I had my daughters when I was super young, and at that time there was no help for young moms, so there wasn't daycare or all the free stuff that you can get now, and so most of their entire lives I've spent working 2-3 jobs, horrible jobs, whatever it took to kind of just keep them fed. And so I was working day and night, and when they hit puberty there was no bond whatsoever, and it just made everything so much harder. And so when I had my son at the right age, he was hitting kind of that 6-7 years, and I was missing all of his first days and first walks and first everything because I was working again 24/7, just a much better job in marketing, and didn't have time. My husband didn't have time. I just didn't want the same thing to happen again. So did a lot of research on things that were recession proof or really close to recession proof that I was passionate about, and found that marketing has always been a part of that. And so did more research on reselling, brokers, those kind of things, and found this was the perfect niche for us. Built a database and started making cold calls, and it just kind of all worked out. Or still working out. My primary goal is to get it all set up and the foundation really solid, so that I can then go out and find women who are in some sort of the sex industry, whether that's prostitutes or strippers or just women that want a better, different life for themselves, and bring them in and teach them how to sell and market and do those things so that their kids can get out. But I can't do that until the foundation's all set and in place. I want to build something solid, and I want to be proud of myself at the end of the day. Those are really key pieces, but I want my quality of life to be everything that I've worked for. I want to be on the boat, I want to be on the lake, I want to have fun, but at the same time, I want to just do something for people that I know are hurting in this city. And I've spent the last 10 years just trying to figure out what that is, how to get into that industry, how to help them in a way that's tangible, instead of just giving them food or taking care of them, and this seems like the best way for me to get there. It's just going to take a little time. At any given point in any day, there's 2,000 girls in Austin working in a club. Out of those 2,000 girls, a good percentage, between 70 and 80, have 2 to 4 kids each. So it's not just the ladies, it's also these kids, because their lives, they don't have their moms there at night, they don't have their moms during the day, you sleep, drugs start to get involved. Not always, but for the majority of the time, it is the same story. And so when I started really trying to figure out, if I'm going to help somebody and do something, what does that look like? And there's nothing in the way of help for these girls. If they want out, they have no resources for clothes, they have no resources for resume writing, they don't even have anything to put on a resume. So how do you help that? And same thing with even guys coming out of jail that just life handed them the wrong set of circumstances, and now they're pretty much doomed. And so a big part of it's not necessarily a ministry. I just want to hire the unemployable and give them that chance and say, I don't care about your resume, I don't care about your whatever, are you clean, and do you want this? Because anybody can do it if you want it bad enough. We're definitely en route, and it comes down to finances, getting the right technology to pull all of our stuff together to where we can give these girls the right tools getting out the door, getting them built, getting the platforms. It's time. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money to kind of be self-sufficient as a business owner, enough to be able to walk away from the business long enough to take care of. It's going to take some work to get everybody trained and those kind of things. And I'm not in a position to walk away from operations yet to train salespeople. So that's, I think, just time, a little bit of money, and we're there. I'd say 6 months or so we'll be able to pull the trigger and really dive all the way into it. Terrifying. I don't have another word. Because we had no clients, I had no Photoshop skills, I had no design skills. All I knew was marketing and sales. I was really good at sales. So, luckily I have really good work ethic, so I don't need anyone telling me to go to work. I get up and I work. And it was just a lot of cold calling. It was a lot of crying. It was a lot of praying. It was a lot of learning, like things that I never in a million years would have ever thought that my brain was capable of learning. Everything I've learned, I have literally learned on Google, going and auditing classes at UT. I put myself in Literacy Austin at a 4th grade level last year to be able to do it. So if I can do it, then anybody can do it. You just have to really dig in and want it. And just use that as an example to them every step of the way. If they want to go back to school, if they want to, whatever, you know, if you have your finances in order and your kids in order, you can really do whatever you want. Just as long as your job is done at the end of the day. Like, I want them to just flourish and see what happens, because I've seen it happen. It's pretty cool. My exit plan is 5 years, so I have about 2.5 more years before I will start making my transition out, and then my husband and I are going to buy a restaurant on the lake, a small one that's only open on the weekends. But that would be our end of the story, you know, other than coming into the office to make sure everybody's happy and good. But at some point, we'll turn into a restaurant. That'll be kind of our fun time, because we worked for it.